Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Prutsman, owner and founder of Sound Relief Tinnitus and Hearing Center. We're so glad you tuned in to this pilot episode of the Sound Relief podcast. We thought we'd start off with just an explanation of why we started Sound Relief and a little background information about myself. I'm a third-generation audiology professional. My grandfather was taking apart hearing aids in the 1950s at the kitchen table. At one point, there were 7 members of my family in this field, both aunts, uncles, cousins, mom, and dad. I always knew I wanted to be in healthcare to help people, and so I went to Marietta College to major in pre-med and biology in the 1990s, and then came back to Colorado and went to University of Colorado at Boulder for my master's degree in speech and hearing sciences, and had an emphasis in audiology at that point. I knew I wanted to stick to audiology specifically, and so went back to school for my doctorate degree through Sallius University. But really, if I back up and think where and when did I know I wanted to focus on tinnitus, it was when I was in Boulder, running the audiology clinic there at the school, and every other person coming in would say, "What can you do for tinnitus?" And I was really frustrated at that point as a young audiologist, not having really any options for patients other than hearing aids. About a year or so after starting my graduate program, we did have some tinnitus maskers that we could try. And tinnitus maskers just put white noise in people's ears. And 9 times out of 10, the white noise was worse than their tinnitus. And so the success rate was really low with tinnitus maskers. And so I knew that wasn't really the path that we needed to take. But I had the privilege in my doctoral program at Sallius University to meet Dr. Paul and Margaret Yasterboff, really some of the original tinnitus experts in our field. They were brilliant in coming up with the neurophysiologic model of tinnitus that really explains how tinnitus is brain-generated activity, not ear-generated. We've known this for a long time, even going back to the 1950s, when they would cut the auditory nerve and debilitating tinnitus would get louder. But it wasn't until the Astroboffs really put this into a model that was scientifically proven and understood that we could develop treatments like tinnitus retraining therapy. And so after I went to school and finished my program, I also was able to attend Emory University with the Astroboffs in their tinnitus workshop, tinnitus retraining therapy, and learned the clinical application of the model. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my career. And in 2011, my husband and I were able to start Sound Relief with the focus of helping patients with tinnitus, hearing loss, and decreased sound tolerance. We knew we wanted to really focus on this smaller group of patients in audiology because so many of them were being told, and still to this day are being told, to just go home and live with it. Just, learn to live with their symptoms, which if you have a 24/7 screeching, screaming sound in your head, that is about the last thing you want to be told, is to just go home and live with it. So really, we wanted to provide answers and give hope and inspiration and help to anyone who is dealing with tinnitus or hearing loss or decreased sound tolerance, such as hyperacusis or misophonia. And we knew, there's a lot of misinformation out there, bad information, quite honestly, because there's 50 million people worldwide that experience these types of symptoms. And so it's a huge market. And, unfortunately, there are going to be people out there that come up with snake oil remedies, if you will, because they can, and because people will do just about anything in some cases to try and alleviate their symptoms. So we knew we could help with my education, my background. And so we decided, let's do this differently. Let's really help people with giving them the time they need to explain their story, to explain how their symptoms came about. And that's why To this day, we give patients a 90-minute tinnitus evaluation as their first visit to really be able to sit down and understand what have they learned up until that point, and how can we clarify some of those misconceptions that maybe they've read or been told. And then we can come up with a customized treatment plan, which often involves tinnitus retraining therapy, tenets of cognitive behavioral therapy, and prescriptive sound therapy. Prescriptive sound therapy is how we calm a person's nervous system and also give any missing input back to the brain. So if there is some hearing loss, which is so common with tinnitus, we have to address that underlying issue. We can't just ignore any underlying hearing loss because the brain is searching for that input, and oftentimes in its search creates a hyperactive auditory system that creates this tinnitus or ringing sound in the brain. The other areas that we help with are auditory and brain training exercises, because we know we have to strengthen some of these connections between systems and calm systems down within the brain. So tinnitus retraining therapy is a combination of sound and learning skills and lifestyle modifications to really be able to tackle some of the side effects that occur with tinnitus, such as lack of sleep, lack of focus and concentration, anxiety, a lot of other negative symptoms, unfortunately, that can be related. So the good news is we have a great success rate with helping people with tinnitus. And some people experience relief right away. Other people, it takes a little bit more time to get things reset, because we really have to stabilize a system before we can treat it. But this we do together with patients, and typically we see them about 6 times in the first year. So what we love is we can really get to know people and establish great relationships that can be therapeutic and get the results and the relief that we're looking for, the relief that we need. Um, so really, our goal with these podcasts is to provide lots of topics and content, a lot of the frequently asked questions that we have in the clinic, maybe even questions we're not asked in the clinic, but we want to make sure we cover so that people can really have a full understanding of what it takes to, get relief from tinnitus and take control and be the expert at tinnitus, because no two brains are the same. No two situations will look the same with tinnitus. So we hope you'll tune in and learn more from us with future episodes. We're excited to bring on guests, some of our own audiologists, and then some outside sources of knowledge and information as well in our future episodes. So just know you are not alone, and things will get better. Thank you.